How old are you, Arya? I managed, my voice trembling despite my efforts to appear composed. Arya's response was chilling. You're smarter than I thought, she retorted sharply. I may look like a young girl, but I'm 18. You are a bit younger than that. Her words sent a wave of dread coursing through me. How? I whispered, struggling to comprehend the unnerving reality unfolding before me. I stopped growing old a long time ago, Arya confessed, her tone devoid of remorse. I'm trapped in this child's body, but I can only do something with someone who looks like an adult, and I want a normal life with an average family. Her words hung heavy in the air, suffused with a sinister intent that sent shivers down my spine. You can feel sorry for me all you want, she continued, her voice laced with malice, but I'll find a way to get a real family one day. It doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be any of you. Her proclamation filled me with a deep-seated fear that eclipsed even the horrors of my captivity. What do you mean, one of you? Who are these women? I pressed, gesturing towards the portraits in her diary. Arya's transformation was palpable. Her once innocent countenance twisted into a mask of malevolence. These are my other mothers, she declared, a smug smile playing upon her lips. You think you were the first? The mothers who did not live up to my expectations are all buried in the basement. I greeted her with the usual, how was practice? But her response wasn't the typical enthusiastic chatter. Fine, she said curtly, a departure from her usual detailed recaps. I brushed it off as fatigued and moved on. The following day at school, I caught Lily and my sister in hushed conversation. Their abrupt change in demeanor when they noticed me raised my suspicions. What's going on with you two? You're acting weird, I remarked, puzzled by their behavior. Lily hesitated before speaking, her embarrassment evident. Promise you won't be mad, she pleaded. My mind raced with apprehension. Oh my God, what did you two do? I demanded, bracing myself for their confession. Well, we know you had a crush on Caleb for a while now, and we know you'd never, ever do anything about it. So we kind of wrote a note and passed it to him. Anonymously, of course, my sister confessed, her words hanging in the air. I was incredulous. You did what? I exclaimed, incredulous. As they revealed the contents of the note, my panic escalated. Just then, Caleb appeared by his locker, his gaze fixed on me. I felt a surge of panic, my heart threatening to burst from my chest. But his smile eased my nerves, and I dared to hope. My sister and Lily erupted in excitement, convinced he reciprocated my feelings. Embarrassed by their exuberance, I tried to downplay the situation. There is no next move, okay? I'm late for class, I insisted, eager to escape the spotlight. But their enthusiasm was relentless. Doubts gnawed at me. Could someone like Caleb really like me, an ordinary girl amidst a sea of cheerleader types? The next day, I made a conscious effort to avoid Caleb, overwhelmed by uncertainty. After school, I hurried to my locker before heading to the journalism room, seeking solace in the familiarity of routine. As I approached the door, his voice caught me off guard. Hey, Reagan, right? I turned to face him, my heart racing as I met his gaze. Caleb stood there with a slight smile, and suddenly, I felt awkward and unsure of myself. I'm Caleb, he introduced himself, and I couldn't help but blurt out, I know, immediately regretting my awkwardness. Why was I so flustered around him? Then he dropped the bombshell. Since the prom is right around the corner, would you like to go with me? My mind raced as Caleb asked me to prom. I managed to blurt out an enthusiastic yeah before trying to compose myself. Caleb's easy charm surprised me as he pulled out his phone, snapping a photo of me and then smoothly asking for my number. I was in disbelief. Prom with Caleb? It felt surreal. The next day, Caleb greeted me at my locker with a flower, his smile infectious. There you go, a pretty flower for a pretty girl, he said before heading to class. His gestures continued, brightening my days as he walked me to class and shared lunch with me. One rainy day, stranded in the parking lot, Caleb came to my rescue. Come on, Regan. I'll drive you home, he offered, whisking me away for coffee before dropping me off. Our bond deepened with each passing day, and as prom drew nearer, my excitement soared. Despite Caleb's kindness, doubts gnawed at me, whispering that maybe he wasn't truly interested in me. I doubted I was his type, but maybe it was just my insecurities talking. My mother always encouraged me to embrace my strengths and beauty, but as my mom, she might have been biased. The days leading up to prom were a flurry of excitement. My sister Lily took charge of dress shopping and planning, and we eagerly anticipated getting ready together. At school, prom fever was contagious. "We'll all meet at my house and get ready together," Lily announced, brimming with excitement. I readily agreed, caught up in the anticipation. Then I spotted Caleb entering the cafeteria with the head cheerleader, his stunning ex-girlfriend, the school's reigning queen bee. No matter what she wore, she exuded model-like confidence. As they laughed together, I couldn't help but stare, and she noticed. Suddenly, Lily sprang up. "Hey Regan, remember the counselor wanted to see you during lunch," she said hurriedly, whisking me away. Confused, I followed, only to feel something wet and slimy hit my shirt. I glanced down to see red spaghetti meatballs splattered all over me. "Oops," the cheerleader said, nonchalantly leaving the mess behind. Shocked and humiliated, I headed to the bathroom to clean up. Why would she target me like this, especially now? I wondered, trying to shake off the embarrassment. Moments later, the principal appeared, concerned at the sight of my stained clothes. After sending me off to shower with a pass, I questioned others about the incident, but no one offered any answers. It was a cruel prank, and I couldn't understand why I was its target. Great. The last thing I wanted was to be labeled a snitch. "It was an accident," I quickly interjected before slipping away, avoiding further interrogation. As I left the showers and resumed my classes, an unsettling feeling lingered. People were staring at me strangely, and I couldn't shake the sense that something was off. Searching for my sister, Lily, I spotted her, but she avoided me, closing her locker and walking away. Despite trying to reach her, she didn't respond to calls or texts. On my way home, I mulled over the day's strange events. What had triggered such odd behavior toward me? Unable to focus on editing an article about our digital footprints, I closed my laptop and turned to my phone. How much of a digital footprint am I leaving? I mumbled, typing my name into a search engine. Images of other Regans appeared, followed by photos from my social media and articles I had written for school. But one image stood out, a picture of me in the school shower. It wasn't me, yet it was. Shocked, I clicked the link to a website I'd never heard of. The post, from an anonymous user, featured cruel comments about my appearance, each one cutting deeper than the last. Tears blurred my vision as I read, and then it got even worse. One particularly cutting comment stood out, fat-shaming me. Seeing Caleb's name attached to it sent shivers down my spine. He not only insulted my appearance, but also dashed my hopes for prom, writing, "She's delusional if she thinks she's going with me." The head cheerleader, Caleb's ex, joined in, tagging my twin sister and questioning our resemblance, suggesting a mix-up at birth. My sister's response stung the most, amplifying the betrayal. Realization struck as I scanned the comments. Many came from football team members and cheerleaders, including Lily's peers. She knew and did nothing. In an instant, my self-esteem crumbled. Their words convinced me of my supposed ugliness. How could I face them? How could I even leave my room? The once familiar space felt glaringly bright and exposed. Fleeing upstairs, I sought refuge in the basement, initially too stunned to cry. Then came the flood of tears, an overwhelming torrent of shock and denial. "I'm not hungry." I'd wail at my mother's attempts to feed me. "Leave me alone." I'd cry out when anyone asked what was wrong. "I hate you." I'd scream, refusing even my sister's attempts to comfort me. I knew she wouldn't confront them. She'd been hiding in the basement too. The thought of Caleb's laughter echoed in my mind, a constant reminder of my humiliation. On the 7th day, my mother demanded answers. I couldn't hide forever. I disclosed everything to my mom, pouring out the hurt and betrayal. She enveloped me in a comforting embrace, assuring me of her unwavering support. Her words lifted a weight from my shoulders, empowering me with a newfound resolve. "We're not as helpless as you think," she reassured me, highlighting the legal protections against cyberbullying and the authorities ready to intervene. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the perpetrators, she vowed to uncover the truth, urging me to confide in her when ready. Alone again, the tumult of emotions resurfaced. I knew I couldn't remain hidden forever. Soon after my mom's departure, a familiar knock echoed through the basement. My twin sister stood before me, tears staining her cheeks. "Please, Regan, hear me out," she pleaded, her voice cracking with emotion. Anger surged within me, but beneath it lay a glimmer of curiosity about who else was involved. "I know I messed up," she admitted, her words tinged with regret. "I was a coward, afraid of being kicked off the team. But I realize now that it shouldn't have stopped me." Her apology hung in the air, met with my seething silence. Yet, Amidst my resentment, her offer to help dismantle the bully's actions stirred a flicker of hope. "You can't stay hidden forever," she reasoned gently. "Let me help you fight back." Her sudden change of heart incensed me. "Now you find your courage," I retorted, bristling with indignation. "It's not your picture in the shower that everyone at school is making fun of," I screamed, frustration and anger bubbling within me. "If we reported her, no one would laugh." "Yeah, right, like I have no proof of who did this," I snapped back, my voice edged with bitterness. "Well, maybe you don't, but we do," Lily declared, her tone resolute. She picked up her phone and the recording started to play. I stared at my sister in disbelief, a glimmer of hope flickering within me. "Let's go," she urged, her determination contagious. "Go where?" I asked, bewildered. "To school, stupid," Lily retorted. "We have to report her to the principal." By the time we arrived at school, classes had ended for the day. Our principal greeted us warmly as we entered her office. My mom had briefed her earlier, and she listened attentively as I recounted the ordeal. "Who did it?" she inquired, her voice firm yet compassionate. We played the recording for her, and she listened intently. Then she swiftly took action, summoning school security and reviewing the footage from the showers. Together, we watched as the culprit entered the shower moments after me. It was the same girl seen conversing with Caleb's ex on the tape. The next day, the offending video was removed and my picture taken down. Gathering in the school gym, our principal addressed the student body, announcing the suspension of those who had participated in the cyberbullying. She then delivered the expulsion of Caleb's ex and her accomplice. As Caleb and his ex reacted with shock and tears, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. Nonetheless, I stood firm in my decision to confront their actions, ensuring they would not dare to repeat their harmful behavior.